Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg, and today I thought I'd do something a little different and something pretty damn cheesy. Howdy, partner. Yes, taking part in June on the Range, and I have something to show you I'm pretty excited about today. Broke out the cowboy hat to reveal to you just half of my Louis L'Amour collection that I recently discovered while unpacking my boxes. So yes, this is a little informal video. Just going to show you all the books that I have. I think the rest of them are at my mother's home in another state, and she's going to look for them because I have about 50 here, but I know that I have his entire collection because my parents bought these for me. Back in the day, I think it was in the early 80s. So these are old 80s paperbacks. Are you guys ready to rock? This is a salute to my favorite Western writer, Louis L'Amour. So for June on the Range, I'm actually going to reread one or two of these books, Louis L'Amour's classics here. But I'm also, and I used to have a nice collection of paperback Zane Greys, which I think have been lost in the sands of time. But I found some on hamiltonbook.com, partner. And I am actually going to pick up a few Zane Grey paperbacks. So for June on the Range, I am going to be looking at Louis L'Amour, Zane Grey, and a couple of newer, more contemporary Western writers. I'm picking up a couple of other paperbacks from the Hamilton book. So having said that, and wearing this ridiculous hat, but I kind of like it. It's fun. It's fun to wear this outside in the garden. Well, I don't have a garden yet, but when I do garden, I got to protect my skin from the sun. Woo! Yeah. Okay, this is ridiculous. These things right here are I took this off just so I didn't look like Howdy Doody completely. But these are nice. They just kind of clip on because it gets very windy out here. Clip these on, and then that way it can just hang off my back. And if the wind takes it, it's not going to just tumble away. All right. Yeah, let me give you some history with Louis L'Amour. I started reading him in my probably 11, 12, 13, and I fell in love with Westerns because they took me away from where I was. And, I lived on a beach, and most people would love that in Florida. I am not a beach person, and I hate, no offense to anyone living in Florida out there, but I don't like Florida. I don't like the weather, the heat, the humidity, the bugs. None of it appealed to me. All I wanted to do was be out in a dusty range somewhere. Out in the West, out in the mountains, like this guy here. That's all I wanted to do. So when I was a young girl, I would read these books. We'd go to the store, and I'd see these on the newsstand or the little metal circular thing twirling around, and my mom would be so gracious to always buy me a new Louis L'Amour. And boy, and I've reread these things. As you can see, they are well yellow. Well, this one's not yellowed, but this is all me. I have loved on these books. When I heard that Louis L'Amour died, I was devastated. I was probably 16 or something, and I remember calling my mom to tell her, and the sound in my voice, she said, gave her a complete heart attack because she thought someone in our family had died, and I was, oh no, Louis L'Amour died, and she goes, oh honey, oh honey, and I was like, yeah, I know, yeah, so I came across these boxes and I said, yes, I finally found my Louis L'Amour collection, but again, I'm missing about 40. This is not his entire oeuvre. And I also have other books like Education of a Wandering Man, Haunted Mesa in hardcover. I mean, I am one of his biggest fans. So, I've got tons of his audiobooks. Let's start with this beautiful stack. You've all heard of the Sacketts, right? Well, look at these babies. These are the old ones from the 80s with the fantastic artwork. I might be missing one or two, so I'm hoping my mom can locate them. A lot of them have the old yellow edging on the pages. These are not necessarily in order, the chronological order, but I do know that it begins. Well, I'm missing Jubal Sackett, which sucks because I loved Jubal Sackett. That was one of his larger novels. But Sackett's Land, baby. Look at that old bantam. It's like a little bit ripped right there. Again, well loved books, and I can't wait to. I don't know which one I'm going to read. Which one or two or three I'm going to read. I mean, you could read these in a day, in an afternoon. So I might read several. Either way, they're going in a place of honor in this new home. My Louis L'Amour paperbacks will have a shelf or two all to themselves because I love Louis L'Amour. So I got Sackett's Land, which kind of kicks things off. It's about Barnabas Sackett. He leaves England, basically, and heads to the New World and establishes the clan there, which the series will follow. Again, these are not in order. Let's see here. Ride the River, which had a female protagonist, which was unusual for Louis L'Amour, but it was fun. This was about Echo Sackett, and the steamboats on the Mississippi and all that good stuff. Yeah, Mountains of Tennessee. I mean, so it just kind of follows the clan as they come into the New World and then start heading out into places west. Now, this one was just straight up called Sackett, and this is about Tell Sackett. Tell Sackett was one of my favorite. His full name was actually William Tell Sackett, but he had a brother Orrin, and then Ty is the other brother, and you'll see them again in several books. Oh, I just had it. Okay, I'm gonna stumble across it. The three brothers kind of star in a few different books, which is fun. But this is about William Tell Sackett. Again, I've got 50 books, so I can't really read I'm not going to read all the descriptions, but you can see he wrote like slim little volumes, but fantastic. And I just love having these books. They bring back so many memories. Then we have Ride the Dark Trail. Sorry for the glare. Just want to make sure you can see it. These are editions that were... This was a 1986, so a lot of these books are like 1983 upwards, and I'll try to find the oldest one, which is really cool. I mean, look how yellowed that inside of this is. This right here. This is yellowed stuff. But I kept them in great condition, didn't I? That I still have them. Still smells all old. Oh, I just love these books. So Ride the Dark Trail was all about Logan Sackett. There you go. There's his mama. And then the Daybreakers. Daybreakers also had, like, Ty Sackett is short for Tyrell Sackett, which was the brother of Orrin and William Tell. So this one is also another entry into the Sackett Brothers series with Tyrell, Orrin, and Tell. So very cool. Then we have Mojave Crossing. I love these. Another Tell Sackett novel. He wrote a lot. He wrote quite a few of Tell. Tell was really cool. Now, in the movie adaptations at the time that were on, like, I don't know, the main networks, they had, like, and the Shadow Riders too, was another one with Orrin, Tell, and Tyrell. Sam Elliott, right? Sam Elliott played Tell Sackett. Tom Selleck played Orrin Sackett, and then I forget the name of the other actor. He was good too, but that's why I loved Orrin, and because Tom Selleck makes a great cowboy, and no one is better at playing a cowboy than Sam Elliott, and I love Sam Elliott. I've loved Sam Elliott all my life. And we have The Man from Broken Hills. The artwork is just. I used to have calendars with the Louis L'Amour artwork from the book covers in, oh man, what a time gone by. So this one's about, Milo Talon. So Milo Talon actually had his own novel Milo Talon. But he was a half Sackett, half Talon, and the Talons were French. In They were known to be pirates. So yeah, there's a mixture of Talon and Sackett in The Man from Broken Hills. I've got to revisit some of these. I think I might just reread the entire Sackett series again. And then we have the Skyliners. See that one? Great, great artwork. We got Earp, Masterson, Doc Holliday. This one covers when they say the Sackett boys. When they say the Sackett boys, that to me means Orrin, Tell, and Tyrell. But it could be. No, it could be. I think it is them. The family was known to be very large, but there's a Galloway in here, and I think Galloway is another. Yeah, I think we're coming up. Hang on. Yeah, this is okay. So Skyliners. Here we go. Galloway. Here we go. This kind of introduces. Well, there's a Flagon Sackett, and Galloway was, I think. Yeah, Galloway and Flagon Sackett. So actually, this one is about the Sackett boys. Is Galloway and Flagon Sackett. You're just your standard awesome Louis L'Amour could just set up a story very simple and knock it down. You know what I'm saying? Most of his novels run about 160 pages. Now, there's longer ones, obviously, but that's your standard size, would be this book right here. Bing, bang, boom. You're in and you're out. Oh, and then we have the Sackett brand. That was a fantastic one. I think this is supposed to be Orrin right here. Yep, another one with Tell. And, yep, if you hunt one Sackett, you hunt them all, baby. This is good stuff. So, anyway, like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you. I was very excited on BookTube to show you my Louis L'Amour collection. I had mentioned it over the past couple of years on this channel that I was going to try to find them one day and show them to you, and the moment has come. So, and then we have Lando. Kind of gets into the pugilism. He was a boxer. Lando Sackett, baby. 6 years in a Mexican prison put muscles in his arms, fire in his heart, and pure recklessness in his head. When he caught up with the men who betrayed him, it made no difference that he didn't have a gun. Never does with a Sackett. So Lando, awesome. And this goes back in time a bit more to when, probably 18th century. Oh, yeah. Actually, this is the older, this is a... So first there was Sackett's Land. This is Sackett coming to the New World, right? And then you have To the Far Blue Mountains. And this is also about Barnabas Sackett as an older man. This is in the Eastern American wilds, right? So probably Appalachia, Shenandoah area, that kind of stuff. To the Far Blue Mountains. Kentucky, maybe. Tennessee Hills, that kind of stuff. So this one's a little bit longer. This one is... up to almost 300 pages, so this was a bit more of an endeavor there. Then we had Mustang Man. Mustang Man was a little bit busy, not busy. It was a little different. Which Sackett was this? I can't remember. Like I said, I've got to revisit. But he's haunted by this woman, Penelope, as you can see in the mist there, in the smoke. They don't mention his name. He's just Mustang Man. And then we have The Lonely Men. I'm trying to avoid that glare. Sorry. This is kind of silly. No comments about silliness. I'm owning it. I know. But I live in Colorado, so whatever. The Lonely Men. Another Tell Sackett novel. Tell Sackett gets a lot of play in these novels, the Sackett novels. Oh, and Treasure Mountain. Yeah, that was another good one. That was really good. Look at these. These are my old paperbacks. So if I bought these in the early 80s, let's say 1986, right? So that's 20, almost 30 years. It will be in 4 more years. Wait, no. Wait, 26, 96. Oh my God, no, oh my God, I'm so old. What, 35? I can't count right now. I'm not trying to count on air, but either way, I've had these books a long time. Treasure Mountain, Sackett Brothers. So I think that's, again, is Orrin, Talon, Tyrell. Okay, so, and these all had the lovely spine, you had the artwork that covered the spine. So that's really cool. Not all of Louis L'Amour's books from Bantam look like that at all. They have the white spine, so we're going to move over to those. And like I said, I've read all of these and reread them lovingly. Again, you can't find a bigger fan of Louis L'Amour. In fact, I have a letter from Louis L'Amour's son. He wrote to me personally when I sent him a letter, a fan letter when I was younger, for his dramatizations, the audiobook dramatizations like Beaudry's Law. And I love the sound effects. It just sounded like you're listening to a Western movie, I'm such a nerd. Oh, so these are his standalone novels, but this one reflects the fact that it was made into the Shadow Riders was made into a CBS TV event, and I had taped that on a VHS tape, which has been again lost in the sands of time. I'm sure I could find this movie on YouTube or something. But yeah, so Sam Elliott, of course, was rocking that big heavy ass beard. Got Tom Selleck playing Orrin, and then this guy over here. They don't even give him billing, but Ben Johnson got billing, but not the guy who played Tyrell. Well, he was good too. Oh, Jeff Osterhage. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's a picture of Tom Selleck with the man himself, Louis L'Amour. This was a great one. Oh, and then Catherine Ross, Sam Elliott's wife, is actually in this one as well. She played one of the ladies that were kidnapped. Oh, it's just great stuff. Just great stuff. Shadow Riders. And so all of Louis L'Amour's old books from the 80s and paperbacks have that white spine with the black type. Very simple. I love the artwork of these two covers. They're very similar. I'm sure they're the same author, and it looks like they got the same model. It's the same model, but I got these books at different times. So there's Flint. Okay, look at that, right? And then there's Riley's Luck. Look at this guy. No shirt wearing, stud over here underneath the jacket. Look at that ripped abs and stuff. What's up, dude? Anyway, look at the face. It's the same model. You can tell. Yeah. This one's about real Will Riley, and this one's about Flint. This one's more of this is a later book, I think. Long Ride Home, first time in paperback. Where are we at? 18 minutes. This was one of my favorites too. I love this. I was hoping he would spin out more. He wrote a couple of books, I think one or two others that mentioned this family, but I was really hoping he would do to this family, like write a whole series of books about the Chantrys, like he did for the Sacketts. But I love Borden Chantry. Look at that. That's like one of my favorite covers. And it's just so dope. That's Borden Chantry. Boomer, can you get down from the window? Thank you. He's waiting for Martine to come home. He's waiting for Mama to come home from the dentist. So he's playing a marshal here, just fighting the bad guys. Good stuff. This is the first Fast Draw. All right, we got that. This is a later book. You can tell like the artwork starts to evolve. This is from 1987. But I kind of like the older kind. Oh, and this we go back in time. This is The Empty Land. Let me know which ones you think are the best, or, which ones you might like for me to read and kind of, give you a synopsis on for June on the Range. I'd be happy to do it. Give you the whole rundown. I could give you a book review of a Louis L'Amour novel if you want it. Just you got to tell me in the comments, okay? And then we have Tucker. I do remember Tucker. Yeah, Tucker was kind of really kind of interesting character, Tucker. Shell Tucker, that was his name. Saddlebags filled with gold. They were the prize in a desperate manhunt that led across Comanche-infested prairies into rough frontier towns. When he began to pursue the three gunslingers who had stolen the gold and left his father to die, Shell Tucker was a boy. At the end of the bloody trail, Shell Tucker was a legend. And a man. Now you're a man. A man, man, man. Sorry, that is from a movie. Was it? Oh God, let's look at the South Park creators did a song, a riff on that. Can't remember. This is Kilkenny. I also love this cover. He was a man from Kilkenny, baby. Oh, this one does have the artwork that goes all the way around. Those were kind of rare back in the day. Oh yeah, good old Kid Rodeo. Kid Rodeo, Rodello. I say Rodeo, Kid Rodeo. You just can't beat it. And then there's Hanging Woman Creek. Yeah. America's favorite storyteller. They just don't design covers like this anymore. Oh, this one was one of my favorites. I read this. He, with the Louis L'Amour, sometimes he had just really evocative titles, just really something poignant. There was something about him that would just stick with you. And this was like, Where the Long Grass Blows. I just have fond memories of this one. And this title, it's about a man named Canavan. Where the Long Grass Blows. And then we have The Tall Stranger. He wrote like over 101. This was another artwork that I really loved. I would have liked to have this as a print on my wall. This is Chansey. Look at those colors. Sorry. This one's very well read and kind of, well, I stored them well. I'm glad they didn't, my mom lives down in the South. Obviously, it was actually quite close to Florida and in Alabama. So I'm surprised that these are just still in pristine condition with all the humidity. This is the Key Lock Man artwork around the cover. Then we have Over on the Dry Side. So I'm just trying to work through these because, I got a little bit more to go. Oh, and I loved his anthologies or his collections of short stories. And this I just showed you this one. This is one of my favorites because it has one of my favorite stories on here, Showdown Trail. So this is The Rider of the Ruby Hills. I've read this several times. I also like The Trail to Peach Meadow Canyon. It was really good. So there's a collection of several stories in here, and as you can see, it's well thumb through. It's got the, oils from my fingers on there. And then The Trail to Crazy Man is another collection of stories. Got 3 stories on there. It's another great cover. Artwork all the way around, at least on the spine. All right. One quick second. All right. So I had a phone call. My boo was calling from the road. I had to answer. So this was another one of his his epics, and this is The Lonesome Gods. I think it's about the trip through to California. You can see nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful spine, beautiful artwork there. I'll read the description for this one. It says, here's the fascinating story of Johannes Verne, a young man left to die by his vengeful grandfather, rescued by outlaws and raised in part by the Indians of the desert. Strengthened by the love of 2 women, Miss Nesselrode, whose mysterious past fires her ambitions for the future, and Megan, a willful young beauty, Verne grows to become a rugged adventurer, a man strong enough to embrace the awesome power of the Palm Springs desert, and bold enough to stake a claim in the bustling world of opportunity that was early day Los Angeles. So there you go. Got two ladies fighting for the love of one man. See, I mean, that's a man wrote this. You know, that's. He's like, yeah, yeah, keep dreaming. All right, and this was another one of his epics, and you can see it's well thumbed, well greased out from the thumbprints, and just loved. This is The Walking Drum, ladies and gentlemen, and you got to read this if you haven't. This was Louis L'Amour really venturing out of his métier of the Old West and talking about the time of the Crusades, I believe, right? Well, it was 12th century. Yes, let me read this to you because I really highly recommend. You know, if you're not into westerns but you want to try Louis L'Amour's writing, and he's a great adventure writer. The Walking Drum might be your ticket. So it says here at the center of the Walking Drum is Kerbuchard, one of L'Amour's greatest heroes, warrior, lover, scholar. Kerbuchard is a daring seeker of knowledge and fortune bound on a journey of enormous challenge, danger, and revenge. Across Europe, the Russian steppes, and through the Byzantine wonders of Constantinople, gateway to Asia, Kerbuchard is thrust into the heart of the treacheries, passions, violence, and dazzling wonders of a magnificent time. You gotta love the adjectives here. From castle to slave galley, from sword-racked battlefields to a princess's secret chamber. And ultimately, to the impregnable fortress of the Valley of Assassins, The Walking Drum is a powerful adventure of an ancient world you will find every bit as riveting as Louis L'Amour's stories of the American West. So, I highly recommend that. I need to reread this, actually. But yeah, I have read this several times. I mean, the spine is bent, and... God, I love it. There will never be another Louis L'Amour. Back to Westerns, we've got Silver Canyon. That had nice artwork on the spine there. Utah Blaine. And again, I know the ones I'm missing because I'm like, I know there's more and I know that I'm missing them. There's this one. I remember this one too. I remember how this one begins. Like he's just getting into a big ass fight. He got the crap beat out of him on this one. Utah Blaine. Passing Through. Author of Jubal Sackett. You see that? I need to get my Jubal Sackett. I can still see the cover art on that, and I loved it. And they don't have that same one today. Like if I try to order a used copy, oh, it'll be beat up all to hell, which it should be because it's it's something that's well loved and like you see the list they would have of all the books he's written. You can look at those and tell you which ones I'm missing. I've got quite a bit, but I'm still missing a few. So my mom's going to look in her garage and see if there's one more box. Because I think I'm just missing one more box. And this one actually included like a map, which was unusual. Not every book had a map, but I used to love looking at the maps to kind of chart like, okay, so this is where he's riding, this is where he's going. L'Amour always gave you vivid descriptions of the surroundings because he knew the land. And for a lot of the books he wrote, he not only knew, he would go there. And so when he was writing the descriptions of the campsites, the trails that they were taking, he knew about them. I almost hit the pause button there. So Passing Through. This was kind of a different cover because it used a red font, but we got Law of the Desert Born. The only authorized edition. Just look for Bantam. That's where I would go because there were a lot of rip-off ones that people would print, and I Bantam was his publisher, so I always knew to buy Bantam. I never bought the other rip-off copies. So this one is a collection of several stories, so it's not just one novel. I love the little letters that he would put on the back. Dear reader, I'm very pleased to share with you this collection. Yes. Oh, and Beaudry was... Yeah, see, I'm missing Beaudry. I'm missing my Beaudry books. And Beaudry was a Texas Ranger. And he would be called on to solve these cases. And I love my audio adaptations of Beaudry. And in fact, I bought some of them on Audible now. So, because when I first bought them, they were on cassette tape. That's how old I am. And then I tried to pick up some up on CD. And I have a few of those. And then I just decided, you know what? Like with Showdown Trail, and Richard Crenna is the narrator for that one, which was great. I have that on Audible, so I can just play it on my Alexa anytime. It's fantastic. So actually, I have two copies of the Shadow Riders. I should have I didn't tell you guys that. I think I might have just wanted this one because it kind of shows the actors. And so I have two copies of the Shadow Riders. I'm not messing around when it comes to Louis L'Amour, you guys. Yeah, two copies of the Shadow Riders because you can never have enough. Um, can you tell that I'm just so happy to be reunited with my paperbacks from my childhood? North to the Rails. Very good. Very good. Oh yeah, this one was really good. This one I think that had the children as the stars in this. Like they were the protagonists. They were trying to survive being out in the wilderness down the long hills. And this one won the Golden Spur Award. I think, or they're just saying that he won the Golden Spur. I think they're just saying Louis L'Amour was the winner of the Golden Spur, but this one is about Hardy and Betty Sue, a 7-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl stranded on the limitless prairie. Okay, if that happened today, dunzo. It wouldn't. But anyway, so that one was kind of an interesting departure for him as far as not just writing about, a rugged man somewhere out in the wilderness. Oh, this one was another one of my favorites, and I love this copy. I love this version. Well bent up, spine is bent. Bendigo Shafter. He was like a log man, or just it was in the wilds of or the forest of I think Oregon. No, totally wrong. It was Wyoming. But I just remember he was like a logger. Um, and I love the names that he would choose for his characters. Bendigo Shafter. Um, uh, they came west inspired by the boldest American dream. Pioneers whose hands and hearts shaped the proud destiny of a nation. 7 men and 13 women and children. Strangers who shed their blood to build a community out of the Wyoming wilderness. And towering above them all was Bendigo Shafter, a giant of a man whose love and courage were the equal of the mighty land. It's a beautiful copy. All right, and then we have The Man Called Noon. It's a great kind of like spaghetti western cover, was it Franco Zeffirelli or Zapparelli, whatever. It kind of has that feel, doesn't it? The Man Called Noon. Oh, I think I got really jazzed at the time because one of the females, the women in the story, her name was Peg. Peg Culane. Oh, she was as cold as a Texas blizzard. Okay, so she was a bad lady. She was a bad Mama Jamma. Peg Culane. We can't all be good. You know what I'm saying? Then, of course, Quick and the Dead, which everyone kind of knows this one. This is very popular story, and it is a great story about Convalian. Very classic, and a very classic cover. Whoops. And then we have The Proving Trail. It's a good one. That one's a little bit thicker. It's about 212 pages. About Kearney McRaven. And this one was the 30th anniversary edition of Hondo, which they made into a movie. I think it was a black and white movie back in the day. I remember this story very well. This one had some very it was very spare and sparse, and it's like everyone, like the woman, so he was starving, and he stumbles upon this woman who's also struggling to make her homestead work. I think she's been left alone with her child, and he has been battling hunger and starvation, and she has barely anything to offer him when he knocks on her door, I think. And I remember the scene and the way Louis L'Amour described it. She sat down the food in front of him, and then she was watching him, and he was eating very slowly, like savoring each bite. And she goes, that's when she knew he was a man who he was suffering from starvation. Because as Louis L'Amour describes it, when you've been hungry that long, like beyond wanting to gorge yourself, And I think Louis L'Amour actually knew what that felt like because he was such an adventurer and he had so many adventures far afield, not knowing where his next meal might come at times. So, he knew of what he spoke, and he also knew people who had gone through these types of harrowing ordeals. So I just remember that one scene, and she's like, there's a man who has known hardship, and how he just thanked her for the meal, and said, I'm going to go. And she's like, you can bunk out in the barn. All right, then we have The Iron Marshal, and this was about a Irish marshal who, I love his hat. So like a kind of a trilby in a way, kind of. About Tom Shanahy. He had a lot of, Louis L'Amour had a great love for his Irish characters. A lot of Irish characters, good and bad. But yeah, he knew how to, wear the badge, and he knew how to bust some heads, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, and here's Milo Talon. I mentioned that before. This is kind of more of a paint. Yeah, look at that. Some original artwork there. Milo Talon. The French Pirates, as you know. And then Conaher, which they made into probably a CBS or ABC movie. And I think it had Kate Capshaw in it. Now she was in... I think she was in the Quick and the Dead. So was Sam Elliott, and they had a hot little fling in it. In a waterfall, they had a kiss, but that never happened in the book. Louis L'Amour didn't do that with his female characters. And his men were always too honorable to do that because she was married in the book. So her husband and son were back at the cabin, and they just made that part up. But it was pretty cool because Sam Elliott, Kate Capshaw, all in a waterfall. It was nice looking people. You know what I'm saying? So we have Conaher. I'm getting in trouble here. Okay, and then we got a couple more here. Oh yeah, this one goes back to the Talons again. I told you there were at least 3 books about the Talons, and this one is Rivers West. And this takes you back further, like probably 18th century, late 18th century, I'm thinking, early 19th, but about Jean Talon, he was a young shipwright. Yes, this was about like after the Louisiana Purchase, Jean Talon, he wanted to like set out and kind of claim his land and stuff, but she's great. There's the ships in the background, Rivers West. And then Yondering, which was a great collection of more contemporary stories set in modern day times, but or at least in the 20th century. Merchant seamen, and that was Louis L'Amour. He did a lot of this stuff, so that could have easily been him right here. Says here, over the years I have been proud to write about the men and women of the American frontier, but I have written many stories with entirely different settings which I have long wanted to share with my readers. I have collected some of these in Yondering. They are glimpses of what my own life was like during the early years. Those were the rough years. Often I was hungry, out of work, and facing situations such as I have since written about. Although these stories take place in a variety of locales, they are stories of people living under conditions similar to the way they might have lived on the frontier. I hope you'll enjoy Wandering. And that was a special message from Louis L'Amour. This was a great one. I really enjoyed these. And I'm noticing now that they have this thing, and I think Beau L'Amour, who was, again, I told you I wrote a letter to him, and I got sidetracked in that because I got so excited talking about it. I fangirled out and wrote a note to him saying, I really enjoy your adaptations on audio cassette. And he was so kind to write me back a personal letter on his own typewriter. I have saved that letter. And, I think Beau L'Amour, being the son of Louis L'Amour, obviously is probably, running, the estate and is taking care of that legacy and has been releasing these books called like Lost Treasures of Louis L'Amour, where he's sifted through all of the different notes, outlines, unfinished manuscripts, and has been slowly over the years releasing them. Now, those I haven't gotten yet because I don't know how I feel about reading things that are incomplete. I don't know if the writer the author really would have wanted that. But I am a fangirl, so I think I am going to pick those up. They've also re-released a lot of his short stories into new paperback editions, new hardcover editions. Any number of ways that they can still market Louis L'Amour, they do, and I think that they still sell very well. These are my prized possessions from my years as a very young teenage girl. Yeah, about 13, 14. And they kind of shaped who I've become today, which is a history lover. And I branched out from American and Old West history into so many more areas. But I can tell you, between the Civil War and then my Louis L'Amour novels and my love of the Old West, I have gone on quite the journey. And I have Louis L'Amour to thank in part for that. And I'm just so happy that I could share my my collection with you. And I do have more. I hope I can find them. This is not all of them by any means. In fact, these are older, and I didn't know if I wanted to show these or not. Like this is, yeah, I don't know where this was not even a Bantam edition. Okay, this is one example of one where I might have gotten it by mistake. This is Sitka. I don't like the cover, and it was by Signet. And that's like, no, it should be Bantam. And these are two later releases. And that's when I think I was in the military and I just didn't have time to keep, following the releases. But this is Beyond Our Monument Rock. You can see where they start to do the newly discovered stories. And then Beyond the Great Snow Mountains. But anyway, so these are the ones that I was able to get from my mom. And I'm hoping that the others will make an appearance at some point in time. But these are the vast majority. So until I can find them and share with them, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this little jaunt down my memory lane. You got to know me a little bit more and of my inspirations, my influences. And let me know, if you've read these, what your favorite Louis L'Amour novel was. And if you'd like me to read one of these and do, a little fun little breakdown for you in a like a standalone video, I'd be happy to do it. But let me know. So June on the Range is on its way, and I have got plenty of Westerns to indulge in. If I do end up buying some of those Zane Greys, of course I will show them. I will haul them on this channel, as I always do, and any other contemporary Western writers that I'm trying to discover. I just don't find anyone contemporary right now, at least, but I haven't been looking, because to me, after Louis L'Amour, where do you go? Please give me your recommendations. Obviously, Lonesome Dove, Larry McMurtry. I got that. Trying to think of any others. But let me know who you might recommend that I might enjoy, knowing the type of Westerns that I have enjoyed in the past, such as Louis L'Amour, such as Larry McMurtry. I think I've read Elmore Leonard's. He had a couple of Westerns. And then for a time, there were a couple of novels. I think it was Bleeding Kansas and, no, it wasn't. Roe Richmond was his name. You can't find that guy anywhere anymore. But he wrote some viscerally graphic. I remember they were like, whoa, kind of stunning in that he really got kind of graphic with the violence. But Roe Richmond, and he wrote about Bleeding Kansas and a couple of Last Stands, books. But anyway, I am rambling. And with that, I will take this hat off my head and bid you a fond, I was going to say adieu, but cowboys don't say that. They say saddle up, partner. I don't know. I'm being silly. Anyway, guys, that's my tribute to Louis L'Amour. And there will never be another one like him. And I still miss that guy and what he brought to my life. All right. Until next time, BookTube. Thanks for joining me at the History Shelf.